So this is a bit of a new one for me because I have only just been officially diagnosed with inattentive ADHD in the past couple of weeks, but I have been waiting for an assessment for almost a year. So I've had a bit of time to kind of look into tips and tricks, and I've been trying out different things and getting to know my brain a little bit better. And there are a few things that are recommended for ADHD that I was kind of already doing beforehand as well. I've been doing for quite a few years since I started working from home. So there probably is a lot of crossover and things that are helpful for most business owners actually in this video. And maybe I'll start doing a few more videos about having ADHD and running a business if people are interested. But I thought I would just share a few things that have personally helped me so far. So first of all, I've completely ditched notebooks for work stuff because it's pointless. I'll write something down in one and then I'll never look at it again. And I've spent so much money on notebooks for them to just sit in a drawer, to look pretty, to either be like half full, a quarter full, to have like a few pages scribbled in. It's just not worth it. I do still have this to-do list, which I sometimes use, but it often gets covered in things on my desk and doesn't always get seen or used. So instead, I use Trello religiously. I just have it open all of the time as the first window in my browser, and it's my weekly to-do list, as well as where I brain dump all of my ideas. And then I just pull those across into my schedule as and when I want to actually do something with them. And I can also check it on my phone as well if I'm out and about and need to double check something. And then I also have a joint board with my husband as well for anything we need to kind of organise together. I did also try Notion at the beginning of this year as well, but I've been using Trello for so long that I just couldn't get into the groove of Notion, but it does actually look like another really good tool for doing the same sort of thing. The next one's quite specific to what I do, but if you own some sort of crafty business like me, then getting somewhere to either hang or store all of your tools so they don't go missing all the time is a must-have. This bucket is a lifesaver for me. I was constantly putting my scissors and weeding tool down and losing them like multiple times throughout the day. Now, once I finish with something, I've trained myself to put it straight in the bucket. And I think this just works a bit better for me personally than having to like hang it somewhere, because that's a bit more effort. If you're into manifesting and stuff like that, this isn't really a new thing, but I have my vision board hanging right next to me on my desk. And for a long time, I kind of resisted putting it on the wall. So I used to have a Pinterest vision board that I would look at every night before I went to bed, but then I just kind of fell out of a habit of doing that. I've got a manifesting jar that you can kind of see here. I have no idea what I put in that. I don't know why I did that because I've never looked at it since. Just looks pretty. And so I kind of got to the point where I was like, I really need to just be able to see it to remember what's on there. So I made sure it looked cute and hung it here. And I just made it on Canva after kind of writing a list of what I wanted to achieve in 2022 and found lots of stock photos and put it together from there. And having it in my face like that actually makes me think about whether I'm on the right track and if what I'm working on is actually helping me meet one of my goals, or if I've just been distracted by something shiny and I'm going off on a tangent somewhere. Not that this always works and stops me doing that, but it does sometimes help. Another thing I do, which I've done for quite a long time, is I listen to podcasts when I'm making orders for my vinyl business, or I'll have the TV on when I'm doing design work. Anything that doesn't require me to be writing, basically. And I don't know enough to say why this works, but it really does, and it helps me to be less distracted somehow. Also, if I really need to try and concentrate on something and I'm feeling a little bit unmotivated, I'll just put my phone in a completely different room so that's not there as a distraction. That's probably not a specific to ADHD thing, actually. That's probably the majority of us have that phone temptation and could do with doing that once in a while. But it definitely helps me anyway. And so I was actually considering getting an Apple Watch for that reason, and also to remind me to get up and move around every so often. So I would love to hear other people's experiences of Apple Watches. So do let me know in the comments if you have one and you like it. The next thing I do is I give myself made up deadlines all the time. So for example, I just finished a DIY wedding seating chart course for Creative Fabrica. And I convinced myself that I needed to get it finished this week because people are going to be starting making their wedding crafts next week. I was completely made up. But it somehow helped me get it done. I convinced myself in my head. And it doesn't always work, especially if it's something I don't really want to do. But it's always worth giving it a shot. And it's also why Etsy is perfect for me too. For my vinyl business, I have my turnaround time set as 3 to 5 days so that I know I have to get everything done and sent out by that time. And I just always manage to do it because of that deadline. And it's also why I post the same time every Thursday on YouTube as well. It's a deadline I know I have to meet. But it's also why I had to stop bulk creating content because it was just making me really miserable. Now I do everything either on the day or kind of 1 or 2 days before, which really isn't great for saving time, but it's what works for me, so it's kind of what I've got to do. I just don't put too much pressure on myself to post every day. One thing I haven't quite cracked yet is remembering to drink water regularly. So I'm really bad. If I'm kind of hyper-focusing on something at my desk, I can go hours without filling up my glass and then wonder why I'm dehydrated at the end of the day. So I did have an app on my phone that pinged every so often to kind of remind you to drink water. I just ignored it every time. I also bought like jugs and like a big bottle to put on my desk. I always forget to fill those up. So I'd love to know if anyone has any good hacks for this. I could get one of those big bottles and make a label for it that says the ones that are like drink this much by this time. But again, would I remember to fill it up? I'm not sure. Any tips are most appreciated. And that is what I've learned so far. Not all of the hacks I've tried have worked for me, just as I'm sure not all of these will work for you. I'm still kind of figuring out how my brain works. I still have half-done projects and businesses I'm bored of all over the place. So I am actually looking into getting some ADHD business coaching. If I do, would people be interested in a video of my experiences with that? Let me know in the comments if so. And again, always open to new tips and ideas if you have any. Hope you found that interesting and maybe helpful as well. Please don't forget to like, follow and subscribe for more videos like this in future.